In this video, we look at two commonly used types of data structures, namely stacks and queues. We look at what we mean by the physical and logical view of a stack, of a queue, and we explain the concept of data structures and ADT using stacks and queues. Consider an example where I make use of Microsoft Word, and the first operation that I am performing is that I create a table given in the top right. Then in the table I type the word image. That is the second operation I perform. And the third operation that I perform is that I paste a picture in one of the columns in the table. When I perform the undo operation, the last operation that I performed is that of pasting a picture. So when I perform undo, the picture must be deleted. Then when I perform an undo operation, the word image that I typed must be deleted, and then when I again press the undo operation, the table itself must be deleted. How does Microsoft Word know that the last operation that was performed was paste picture, before that it was type image, and before that it was create table? To keep this information, Word makes use of a separate data structure wherein the first element, which is create table, is done last, and the last operation that was performed, which is paste table, is done first. To do this, we maintain a separate data structure called as a stack. When I perform the operation create table, I store the operation in a stack, and I have a pointer to the place where I performed the last insertion, and that pointer I call as top. In our case, I have inserted the element create table, and I have made a pointer top point to the last operation that I performed, that is insertion into the stack. Insertion into the stack is generally called as the push operation. The second operation that I perform is to type the word image. Now that is again inserted into the stack, that is it is placed on top of create table, and now the top value or the last operation that I have performed is type image. So top points to type image. The third operation performed is to paste a picture. This operation is now placed on top of the stack, and the top pointer is now made to point to the last operation that was performed, which is paste picture. When I perform the undo operation, the application looks at the last operation that was performed, that is being pointed to by top, and it ensures that that operation is undone. The application has to undo the operation paste picture, and then now the last operation which is performed was type image. So top moves from paste picture to type image. Deletion from a stack is also referred to by another word called as pop. Again, when Ctrl Z or undo is given, type image, the last operation that was performed, has to be undone, and then that is deleted from the stack or popped from the stack, and the top pointer which was pointing to type image now moves to create table. Again, pressing the undo operation would result in deleting the entire table. The pop operation deletes the last element from the stack. Now the stack becomes empty. The top has nowhere to point to. Stacks can be formally defined as it stores the elements of a list in such a way that the insertion and deletion happen at the same end. Insertion is performed and it is called as push. Deletion is also called as the pop operation. And there is always a pointer to the top element of the stack, and it is referred to as the top. Logically, when we say the word stack, A stack, it has a list of elements and it has an unbounded amount of space or an infinite amount of space. I place the elements in the list one on top of the other in the stack, and the last element that I inserted is pointed to by the pointer top, and when I have to delete an element, I delete the element that is pointed to by top. This is the logical view of a stack. But physically, it can either be stored as an array, where we have a limit to the size of the memory that we can use, and the word top refers to the index at which the top element is found. For example, if this particular array is said to have the index from 1 to n, then the element 4 is present at the index 4. So top will store the value 4. Or it can be stored as a linked list, in which case first I will insert the element 1 and top will be pointing to 1. Here top refers to the address of the node or address of the element. Then when I insert 2, 2 gets inserted before 1 and now top points to 2. Then when I insert 3, top points to 3. Then when I insert 4, top points to 4. When I say top points to 4 here, in the case of a linked list, it stores the address at which the element 4 is present. When top points to an element in the stack has information only about the top element that it is pointing to, and the remaining part of the stack looks like a black box to it. It has no idea about the number of elements that are present below the top, nor does it have the capability to access an element which is not pointed to by top. After paste image is popped, now top points to the element type image, and the stack has no idea about the other elements which are present inside the stack. It only has a pointer to the top element of the stack, and only the top element of the stack is visible to the stack. This explanation is given to make you realize that when you are operating with a stack, the only element that you are allowed to access in the stack is the element pointed to by top. You cannot access any other element which is inside the stack before deleting the elements that are above it. To implement a stack using Python, we can directly make use of the deque package in collections. Deque has a function called append, which is similar to the push operation in a stack, and it has an operation called pop, which is similar to the pop operation in a stack. Append takes one element as input and pushes that element into the stack at the top. Pop does not take any element as input but returns the element that is popped, that is, it returns the element at the top of the stack. Implementing the previous program, we get the following output. When you use the append operation and the pop operation, internally, did you make use of an array or did you make use of a linked list? Is there any way you can find that out? By just looking at the interface. This results in us learning a new terminology called as the abstract data type, in which the data and the operations that are performed on the data are informed, but the implementation details of how the operations are performed are hidden. For example, I know that append takes one element as input, so the data are the elements, and the operations that are allowed are append and pop. Append is similar to insertion, pop is similar to deletion, but internally, how it performs the insertion and how it performs the deletion are totally hidden from the user. This concept is called as an abstract data type. Consider the case where we have 5 people giving instructions to print from a printer that is connected in a network. How will the printer process the request? It has 5 requests and the printer knows that it has to process the request in the order in which it got the request. The first request that it received was from Kim. The last request that it received was from Alicia. And so, the printer has to print the document sent by Kim first, then second by Elvis, third by Selena, then the one by Ron, and the last by Alicia. The first request for the printer comes from Kim. She is the first person and also the last person because there's only one person in the queue. Next, Elvis gives a request, and now the first person in the queue is Kim, and the last person in the queue is Elvis. The next request comes from Selena. The first person in the queue is Kim, and the last person in the queue is Selena. Continuing in this way, we insert the request from Ron after Selena, the request from Alicia after Ron, and so on. If you look at the way the queue is formed, always we add a person after the last person in the queue. Now, when the printer has to service a request, the request is serviced from the first. That is, Kim's request is serviced first, then Elvis, then Selena, then Ron, and then Alicia. In other words, whenever we insert a request to the queue, it is always inserted after the last element, and whenever the printer takes a document to be processed from the queue, it takes it from the first. That is, insertions are done at the last and deletions are done from the first. This kind of a data structure in which the elements of the list are in such a way that the insertions are always made at one end and the deletions are always made at the other end of the list is called as a queue. The insertion operation is often called as the NQ operation and the deletion operation is called as the DQ operation. The pointer to the first element of the queue that we have been referring to as first is usually referred to as the front pointer, and the pointer to the last element of the queue that we refer to as last is usually referred to with the word rear. When we logically look at the queue, we assume it to be a list of elements with infinite amount of space available to store the elements. Always the insertion is done at one end called the rear, and always deletions are made at the other end called as the front. So if I were to introduce a new document, it would be rear increasing by 1 and then the value 6 being inserted at the new position. Physically, when we look at it, it will either be an array or a linked list, and when it's an array, the front pointer stores the index of the first element and the rear pointer stores the index of the last element. So even though I say the word pointer, they are basically storing the index of the array. An alternate way is to use a linked list where the first element is pointed to by front. So front has the address of the first node in the queue and rear points to the last element in the linked list. That is, it has the address of the element 5. When new element is to be inserted, the insertion takes place after rear. Now let us look at queue as an ADT and see what the difference is when we say something to be an ADT and something to be as a data structure. When we mention queue as an ADT, we say that NQ is one operation in which it takes one element as input. The operation which is performed when we give NQ is it inserts the element at the end and then it returns the entire queue back to the user. We have no idea whether it uses an array or whether it uses a linked list to store the elements, and if it is an array, is it going to store it as a linear array or as a circular array? None of the specifications are given to the user. This is looking at the queue as an ADT. But when we look at the queue as a data structure, we have to mention the way it is organized. For example, we say that the elements are stored in an array and the index from which the elements are located are from 1 to n. Front stores the index of the first element. Rear stores the index of the last element. Initially, front and rear are at 0 to show that the queue is empty. And if there is a space in the array, we store the element by incrementing the value of rear by 1 and placing the element there. And then at the end, after the insertion is over, we return the queue as an array. If these specifications and concretely if we give the steps involved in the actual enqueue operation, this is looking at queue as a data structure. Similarly, the dequeue operation will also be given in detail. The queue ADT found in Python is again found in the collections package in dequeue. The append function is used to insert the elements, and to ensure that we pop the elements in the FIFO order and not in the LIFO order, we use the function popleft. Popleft always returns the element at the front of the queue.